Polygon's 𝗕𝗃 has been absolutely flying. We have seen a bit of a pullback, but also a fantastic recovery today with 𝗕𝗃. Guys, we're going to dive down into the charts for Polygon's 𝗕𝗃 to see exactly what has been going on and what we might expect to happen next. As we get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done out of the way, let's dive down into the charts here and take a look at what's going on with 𝗕𝗃. Now, obviously, this is the weekly chart, guys, really zoomed out, but it gives us a good idea as to how things have been performing so far. Now, when we take a look at this, we can see that basically the bull run started back in March of 2020, and we were pretty much just trading sideways. Not a lot of price action was actually going on here. We did rise up from a nice low area, though, of 0.006 of a cent. So if you're an early adopter way back in March of 2020, and you can see the value in this, then you've done incredibly well. In fact, from the low of March 2020 through to the high that we had set in May of 2021, we've seen 42,000% in gains. Now, for the most part, there was a little rally in August and a pullback in November of 2020 before we started to see this huge rise up with the price action of 𝗕𝗃. Now, obviously, the Fibonacci retracement tool that we have here only takes a look at the top of wave 3 and the low of wave 4, ultimately 1, 2, 3, 4 ahead of where we're going for 5. This actually shows us moving up to $9.43. So basically, when we take into consideration these impulsive moves that we've seen, and obviously the fantastic kind of growth that we've also seen, this could actually help us identify where things could potentially go next with our last leg of this bull run. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our trend-based fib, and we're going to take this from the low of wave 2 at the bottom here. We're going to grab that, and we're going to move up to the high of wave 3. I'm going to just do it over to the side so we can actually analyze the numbers, guys. Bear with me. We're going to take it from there, and then we're going to pull back for our wave 4 correction, and we're going to drop that right on there. Okay, this actually then shows us us potentially moving out based on trends to $12 for the price action of 𝗕𝗃. So as things really heat up, we're going to really be able to see whether or not the $9.43 is a really conservative price estimate, or whether or not $12 is truly possible. Based on the trends that we've seen so far, this fifth wave could absolutely be massive for the price action of 𝗕𝗃. And considering the way that it has been behaving today, I would not be surprised if it does actually make that move to $12, I should say. Right, so with all that being said, and we have some good estimates on where things are likely to go next, let's actually jump on down into our daily chart. The daily chart is where we take a look at the most recent price action for 𝗕𝗃, and we can see the cup and handle pattern forming out quite nicely. This is something that's actually been happening and been tracking since June, right? The candle really pulling down in September here and moving up nicely in October. Now we're just above the cusp of the top of our cup and handle, heading towards the 618 of our chart here. That comes in at $1.90, the 702 at $2.08, and the 786 at $2.25. This is going to be a big battle zone for 𝗕𝗃 as we continue this growth towards our cup and handle target of $2.52. Now, both Bitcoin and Harmony One have achieved their cup and handle targets so far of, pushing a little bit above and beyond. So right now, we're obviously looking at these other charts that were also forming very similar patterns to see whether or not they've been invalidated or whether or not they are looking pretty good for this target to actually come in. And in the case of 𝗕𝗃, considering how it's recovered and how fast it recovered today, I think it has a real good shot at coming in on this target of $2.52. Now, obviously, we can acknowledge that we are in an overbought area on the stochastic RSI. This is something that we've only just entered into. And for things like, Harmony One, it was actually tracking up in this overbought area for over 20 days whilst it was heading out towards its target. So I'm not worried about the daily chart being overbought right now, but obviously as time progresses, we'll obviously see whether or not we're going to pull back in line with some of the other kind of time frames. Now, obviously, as we continue this growth to the upside, it's going to be interesting to monitor. Now, obviously, the 618 is going to be the main battle zone. That's where we want to enter, get inside this yellow box. I feel like I've been talking about this yellow box for quite some time now, but this is where the main battle occurs. Now, there isn't a lot of resistance up here. Once we get past the 618 and go into the 702, getting above that and pushing up to $2.52 should actually be pretty simple. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Now, at this point, we are going to jump over to the advice.io dashboard and actually talk about the underlying value of Polygon's 𝗕𝗃. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, advice.io use artificial intelligence and machine learning to help us understand the underlying value of cryptocurrencies. They help us understand things that you cannot normally see within the charts. So there is a link in the description down below. It's completely free to sign up, and as a part of doing your own research, you might want to actually pay attention to what this platform is telling us. As we come down here, we have Polygon's 𝗕𝗃 Matic as an A2 cryptocurrency. That's the second best rating that this platform can give, and the highest rating we've ever seen this platform give. That means that this is the top tier cryptocurrency right now. As we come on down, we have an 𝗕𝗏 ratio that's an A2. The 𝗕𝗏 ratio basically represents our liquidity. There's no liquidity-based issues with this, so buying and selling Matic is pretty fluid. As we come across here, the Fear and Greed Index is an indicating of an A1. It basically tells us that there's extreme greed in the space right now, so do expect some profits to be taken. But after the performance today, I think there's a lot more people willing to FOMO into Matic right now than potentially sell. So those experienced traders will be taking those profits, but I think they're going to be swallowed up by those eager FOMO retail investors. As we come on down, we obviously have the Sharpe ratio. The Sharpe ratio is your risk reward ratio. This isn't up an A2, well above that 50-day average, guys. Has been tracking above there since September, and it's fantastic to see this one really performing well. Again, in line with that Fear and Greed Index being an A1, this is indicating to us that the rewards outweigh the risks, and therefore we want exposure to Matic. This is a huge gap between the 50-day average, and again, I think this is really going to help push that FOMO element. Now, as we get into the moving averages and A2 rating, no problem with the 10, 50, or 100-day moving averages. They're all working quite nicely for us. And again, the profitability, that return on investment's way up there, an A1 rating, no problems whatsoever. So ultimately, there's nothing wrong with the underlying data when it comes to Polygon's Matic. Right now, everything's looking very, very good, and we could potentially see a good surge to the upside. As we take a look at this, we can jump down into our hourly and start to think about what's actually going on here. We obviously had this pullback today. And again, we're pushing up, but we are still a little bit lower. So I would be cautious right now to say, well, this ABC correction could still be on the cards here. But I think actually looking at it, we are more than likely going to push right back up to this 618. The key here is to push higher than we had previously, coming in higher than $1.91. So right now, one thing that we want to monitor is this stochastic RSI is lowering down. We haven't got too far to fall, so I do anticipate a good push to the upside. We throw that volume on, and you can see basically as the price pushes up, the volume increased. And as the price is pulling back, the volumes are decreasing. This is that testament to this Fear and Greed Index being extremely greedy. Less people are willing to sell, and more people are willing to buy. So this is indicated within the volume of what we're seeing right here in the charts. So this is actually a good thing. This will allow us to basically bottom out, probably won't fall back any lower than the support of $1.70, and allow us then to grow right back up into the 618 area, where again, that battle is really going to occur. Do expect volatility in here, guys, because there is resistance in this zone. Once we push past the 702, though, that coming in at $2.08, I think we're going to have a pretty clear and easy battle way through to the top as we target out for the $2.52 price target. Ultimately, everything on Matic is lining up very, very nicely to complete this cup and handle pattern and continue the growth over the next few months. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there, but if you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.